Hi, I'm E.D. Lewis, and welcome back to my channel, E.D. Lewis Reviews. We're not doing a nocturnal review this time, because the sunlight is key to this review. Before I get started, though, please hit that like and subscribe button, and please leave a comment by the end of the video. Sorry. Also, please follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I'm on BookTube as well, and Goodreads. You can follow me on there. And I'm also on Wattpad, so you can read, some of my writings on Wattpad. I have poetry, short stories. I also have the first 2 chapters of my book, which we'll talk about that later. Well, happy Pride Month. It's still Pride Month. We're getting close to the end of the month now, since it's like, the 21st, I think? Hold on. Yeah. Today's the 21st, so we're in the last several days of it, and I still have 2 more reviews after this planned. Now, granted, this book that I'm reviewing today is not the one I originally had planned. I was going to do an Anne Rice book, which I am doing, but it was going to be a different one, but I changed my mind at the last minute. Well, not the last minute, yesterday or the day before. So, instead of doing what I was going to do, which was the Vampire Lestat, but some people have been doing that more recently, and I felt like, I kind of want to space my Vampire Chronicle ones out with my Anne Rice reviews. So, instead of doing, Interview with the Vampire, and then doing the Vampire Lestat, I wanted more or less to do Interview with the Vampire, a different Anne Rice book, then Vampire Lestat, and then a different Anne Rice book. So, I'm doing The Mummy, or Ramses the Damned, which is an awesome book. It's one of my favorite Anne Rice books. And stuff. This is actually a book that I had started twice before I actually got through it. And, because, stuff was just coming up and stuff. And this is also one of the first books of hers I have, or owned, back when I was first getting into Anne Rice. And I love this cover especially, even better than the updated version of the same picture. Because, to me, there's something about just the art with the eye and the eyebrow, it just strikes me as so cool, and I love how you can see the detail of the texture of the gauze, the linen from the wrappings. And then on the back here, we got a really nice picture of her. It's a dated photo, but it's a great one, so I love this photo. So anyway, this book is Gothic romance and Gothic horror. It was published in 1989, and keeping with the Pride Month videos and the Pride Month review series, I guess is what I've been calling it, features bisexual characters as part of the main plot. Not the main characters, but they are connected with it. And I know the camera's bobbing back and forth. I'm sorry about that. The stand I have at the moment for this video is just kind of, maybe if I put my foot here, it's just kind of wobbly. So anyway, so this book, from what I understand, and I've only heard this once, and it was with an interview with Anne Rice that I heard it. This had originally been conceived as a television script, a TV film script, and for some reason I'm thinking I remember that she said that they had Richard Chamberlain in mind to play Ramses. But I could be wrong, and she wanted to do stuff with it that they just couldn't do for TV, so she turned it into a book. Now, if I'm missing details, please feel free to fill me in, or if I got something slightly off. I've only heard this one place before, and I haven't read it anywhere, so please fill in the blanks for me if I'm wrong or if I'm missing something. Please and thank you. Oh yeah, and by the way, please leave comments. I love to read those comments. Just make sure they are not rude or inappropriate. Please make sure they are G, PG, or PG-13 and nothing mean. Because that's not nice. We don't like that. Nobody likes that. But if you, and please share your opinions about this book, regardless of what you're, if I agree with you or not, because we're all entitled to our own opinions, so just because I disagree with you doesn't mean you're wrong. Just because you disagree with me doesn't mean I'm wrong either. But I love, reading comments and stuff. So, I just don't get enough comments. So please comment. Even if you're saying hello, I'll say hi back, thanks for watching. so on and so forth. But anyway, getting back to the story. So an archaeology team has excavated this bizarre tomb that they found that's claiming that the mummy inside is Ramses II. But oddly enough, it refers to him as Ramses the Damned for some strange reason. I think in history he was Ramses the Great, but don't quote me. Maybe that was Ramses the First. That was. I don't know. I know it talks about that stuff in this book, but it's been a while, so I don't remember. And also the tomb, weirdly enough, dates to a much later period than when Ramses had lived and died. So that, has left them all very mystified. And those who are present at this excavation is Lawrence Stratford, who is the leader of the excavation, and his longtime friend Elliot, and once lover Elliot Saverell, who is the Earl of Rutherford. And ironically, his daughter, Lawrence's daughter Julie, is engaged to Elliot's son, Alex. But they're back in England, so they're not part of this setup anyway. Like I said, the team is led by Lawrence Stratford, who dies mysteriously on sight, and the only witness there is to it is the mummy. So many of them think that, since this takes place around the same time, I think, as the Tutankhamun, the King Tut tomb discovery, they think that it has to do with a curse. So they think that he was, that he unleashed a curse and that's what killed him. And so the newspapers are just flooded with that information, which makes sense, especially for the time period. So the mummy and all the belongings are sent back to London to be taken to the British Museum, but they are temporarily being held at the at the Stratford home, where Julie, his daughter, Lawrence's daughter, has basically taken charge of everything, and she is, the heir and stuff, so I think she's the only child, too. Yeah, there's no other children mentioned. So she's all on her own, and she has, of course, their family servant, Samir, who I just have a liking for that character. I love his name, Samir. Which there is a sequel, by the way, to the book, and most of these characters do appear in the second book, and I plan to do a review on that, too, in the future. So anyway, while the mummy is is having its short stay at the Stratford home, Julie accidentally exposes it to sunlight, and it brings it back to life. And in this really awesome scene where you see that, in your mind's eye, the mummy just come to life and tear the wrappings from his face and his head, and revealing, his beauty and his striking blue eyes, which is so strange, for an Egyptian pharaoh to have blue eyes, and him drinking from the fountain and starting to do his mimicry thing, because he has this talent for mimicry. And, of course, Julie falls absolutely in love with him, and she's fascinated by him, and he starts going by the name of Reginald Ramsay as his cover for, because, this mummy just came to life, and then they had, the newspapers like, the mummy disappeared, and mysterious, friend of the Stratfords is there, Reginald Ramsay, who is supposed to be an expert in Egyptology. So at some point they end up all going to London and stuff, and they all make great friends with him. And there's the cousin, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. And look at that. One of my pages just came out, so I'll have to do a little repair work on this book. This is an old book, but oh, I can't remember his name. He's he's such a terrible guy. He's an alcoholic. He has gambling debts. He has this prostitute who's his mistress, his girlfriend. I think his name's Henry. I think. Henry Stratford, I think. Is that it? Yeah. Henry's his name, and he actually had a sexual relationship with Elliot himself as well, but he was blackmailing him and stuff, so he used it for his own gain, so, he was a terrible character. But this book has great detail, it's great adventure, it's great romance and stuff. You even learn the history of the mummy and himself, and there's a little incident in the museum in Cairo, and I don't want to tell you too much about that because that's, a major plot point. And there's some Anne Rice humor to it with poetic justice happening to certain characters. And it's just kind of mildly amusing. And so she does have a little bit of satire in this, but it's a great book. I would pick it up. I would recommend you pick it up. I know I'm pretty sure it's available on, Kindle. You can get this in bookstores, wherever whoever sells Anne Rice books. If, depending on what they have in stock at the time. You can order it on Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble. You can get this book pretty much anywhere. You'll have probably the more updated cover, though, but, it's one of my favorite Anne Rice books. I like it, of course, even better than the follow-up. The follow-up was very good, very interesting. It was something different. It was co-written by her son, Christopher Rice. So, I'll do a review on that sometime, and that's just, fantastic. So, pick up the book, The Mummy or Ramses the Damned by Anne Rice. So, that's pretty much all I had to say about the book. I highly recommend it. Of course, I'm a big Anne Rice fan, so, she's my favorite writer, and she's my favorite Gothic writer, or Gothic author. But, if you're interested in my writings, I have a couple of publications available, and, one of them, my most recent, is an MM erotic romance short story called Alone with the Professor. It is available on, Amazon Kindle for only 99 cents. I'm sorry if there's a glare, but the sunlight, I said, was key to the story since it brings the mummy back to life. So anyway, check that out. It's only 99 cents on Amazon. And if you're interested in my novel that I have, which is called The Curse of Ridge House, a Gothic novel by E.D. Lewis, yours truly, it's available on Kindle as well as paperback. The Kindle is only $2.99, so please check that out if you're interested in Gothic romance and Gothic mystery, because, it's that classic, I modeled it after that classic Gothic romance that I love so much, and, is still relatively popular today. So it's very much a Gothic thriller, Gothic romance, Gothic mystery, so check it out. Please also visit the official Facebook page of my book, The Curse of Ridge House. Please like that page, and also you can check out my author page on Amazon as well. Like I said, I'm on BookBub and Goodreads and Instagram, Twitter, so check me out on those platforms, and I will see you soon. Happy Pride Month, Black Lives Matter, and please be kind and courteous to everyone. Bye-bye.